Well, hello everybody and welcome. Today we are looking at the second match of our first round of brackets here for the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Randomizer Tournament. I am 329th in line and I am joined by Thoris on comms here. How are you doing today, Thoris?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a good morning, but my day's about to get a lot better because we've got some awesome randomizer action today. Belattor finishing as the #1 seed during our qualifier weeks, going up against Interslice coming in at our 8th seed. So first versus 8. Interslice certainly hoping for an upset here today.
Definitely well capable of it too, after how all of our runners have performed in the qualifying matches.
Yeah, no doubt there. We've seen some awesome races during the qualifiers, and it really could be anyone's game. And no worries because it is double elimination. So whoever goes out today can fight their way through the loser's bracket and hopefully get some revenge. And while we're prepping to get started, give a nice shout out to Jojo Mojo 2, who's going to be running tracking for us today. Thank you so much. As always, it's awesome to work with such a great crew. So yeah, get some hype in chat because we are about to get started.
Sorry, we were discussing earlier before stream went live, but yeah, there's no gentlemen's agreements for this race. So this is going to be complete standard tournament ends.
And it's always nice to have the Violet translator to check this first hint up here with Umos. It looked like it said a missile launcher. I didn't catch where, though. Was it missile launcher?
Mine and station access.
Well, unfortunately, both our runners are going to have to trudge through a vanilla Alpha Splinter fight here, as sometimes in Rando you get to show up with some beefed up items to make this fight go by quick, but will not be the case today.
I would argue this is worse than vanilla because you don't even have missiles.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is even slower. Interslice the first to proc the Dark World animation, but Belattor quickly behind there. Really makes you appreciate having power bombs when you come in here in other seeds.
Yep, it's all down to where you start and how unlucky you are. It's like, yep, Dark Alpha Splinter, Power Bomb, yep, insta kill, great. Otherwise it's charge, beam, dodge, charge, beam, dodge.
And insult to injury. We do get our first power bomb expansion sitting there on the Alpha Splinter, so can't use it here, but we'll definitely have PBs for some of the other early game bosses should we need to see them. And that looked like a missile tank?
Yeah, just a missile expansion.
It's sometimes so tough when you only get a little glimpse of it on the restream.
It's because they all look like some kind of capsule thing, so it's like, could be a visor, could be a translator, could just be missiles. It's like, it takes some time to get used to that.
Well, both our runners having no problem getting past Alpha Splinter, making their way through the temple grounds here, and we're going to be looking for what our first major piece of progression to point towards where the seed wants us to go.
I think both our runners making the wise choice in checking the Dynamo Chamber. with that early power bomb.
It does yield us the first missile tank that we can grab, so gonna be able to head through these missile lock doors as well.
Interslice managing to pull off the slope jump to get up to the temple assembly site item, which is just a missile. Oh, an energy tank.
It doesn't, not going to forward the progress at all, but it is nice to have, especially as we've said several times in lining up to this tournament. Early Dark World runs can be rough, so energy tanks early on definitely can help out. And splitting off path here a little bit, we did get our first Inghive key picked up from Belattor, one of the many useless keys that we could come across here. But Interslice grabbing bombs at the Agon elevator, as well as some information that Chaika is guarding a power bomb expansion. So I have a feeling we won't be seeing Chaika today.
I believe that was the mains.
Main PBs. Okay, so logically Chaika is required, but not going to need that, being able to just use the power bombs from just a regular expansion.
Yeah, so technically we actually have to, by the logic of the seed, we would have to find all the Torvus keys and be able to deal with Chica.
I don't know if I want to read as far into the logic as this could go, but would that mean anything that's power bomb locked specifically, you know, can't be anything required for Chaika as well, right? So
yeah, anything that we find locked behind a power bomb would have logically required us to deal with Chica first. So if we find a Sky Temple key, then logically this is a Chica seed. We need to keep that in mind for when if Captain is still keeping his notes on which bosses have been logically required.
I see chat's already thrown the +1 Chaika, so we shall see if that holds true as we go on based on what we find. But a little interesting, the divergence here we're seeing so far. I imagine we'll get these routes covered on both ends as we continue, early game especially, but Interslice going straight into Agon.
Yeah, builds are using that power bomb to just sort of knock out things like GFMC, because that power bomb would potentially put something into logic there, because you could get back out because you need the power bombs to destroy the gates. But checking the transport access is fine because you can obviously use the save warp to get out, although it would require there to be an emerald there logically, or have dark visor and seekers to get back out the elevator, because technically the elevators are soft lock. But it's nice just to like clear all these out first, and then you don't have to worry about it again.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially when you never know what you'll find, it could lead you further and further away from some of these early game checks. And if something good is there, you might not be getting it for a while. But speaking of power bombs erasing early game bosses, the Bomb Guardian, you blink and you miss it, right?
Yep, one of a number of bosses who die instantly to power bombs.
Something else I thought of with the main PBs being on Chaika is very fortunate to find bombs early, because we might be running pretty low on power bomb ammo for a while in this seed.
Yeah, so for those who are unaware, we have sort of modified the item pool slightly. So main power bombs give us 3 instead of 2. but we have, however, sacrificed a power bomb expansion for the cannonball item. So there's actually one less expansion to be able to find in the game anyway, as this cannonball now replaces it. So much less likely to actually encounter another power bomb expansion.
And welcome to SpeedGaming 2. Thank you for that raid. Joining with quite a few people. You are getting in just in time as this match is just kind of underway here. And haven't seen too much of note other than we know that Chaika is guarding our main power bombs, which in these settings the runners won't require, but the logic could possibly require us to make that play. So I doubt we'll see Chaika. I'm actually almost 100% sure we won't see Chaika. But other than that, that's all the really early game information we have.
Yeah, not found a lot in terms of translators, so can't really read any hints in Aegon. Ideally need to find that Amper translator before we get that information.
And Belattor making way into Aegon as well after doing some of those earlier checks that we were talking about. Does get that information about Chaika. It does pick up bombs and the missile launcher there. So Belattor be making progress as well through this room. And we do see Interslice is going to be taking advantage of a little bit of a programming thing here in the game. I'm not sure what the right term is for it, but essentially the game only checks to see if you've broken that last bomb slot to activate this portal. So able to skip the middle bomb for this puzzle and save a little bit of time there. I'm sure we will be seeing Belattor make the same exact play.
It's interesting to know, though, that Bellator chose not to go to Aegon Energy Controller. He's went straight to the portal site.
Well, considering that there was really nothing there, it's a nice little time save for now. We'll see if anything keeps Bellator moving away from that area or if he decides to go back there. But yeah, I think it was just a light ammo expansion and maybe a missile tank. And speaking of subtle differences, Interslice grabbed the E-Tank out of the task room. Bellator did not, and like we said, early game runs in Dark Aether can eat your health pretty quickly, so Bellator is running on 0 tanks right now. Definitely more than qualified and capable as a runner to handle this, but it's one of those little things that can be stressful and can get caught if you don't manage your energy well, especially on the Various suit here.
Yeah, Interslice's gone all the way to the broom closet before taking on Jump Guardian.
It's a red key. Gonna have to pick it up. I guess could have scanned it to see what it was, but Dark Aegon key. What do you think, Amorbus? Do you think Amorbus is gonna make an appearance today?
Given the general lack of items and even just information, it's very likely that Amorbus may come into this.
Well, Bellator making a big find there. As Interslice decided to go first into the Dark World here, Bellator follows that kind of the Dark World gate that you lift that then fixes it in the Light World and is able to pick up space jump boots. Very, very nice find. Definitely helps with ease of movement through a lot of this earlier game. And we saw Interslice getting dangerously low on health at some point there, so that's what I'm talking about. I saw chat say, I like it. I'm going to quote you, chat. Never underestimate Dark Aether.
Yeah, if you want to go into the actual damage values of it, it's 6 damage per second in Dark Aether when you're just on various suits. So that on 99 health, that's not going to last very long.
It looks like Bellator is going to take those space jump boots to labs. Or is maybe just open it up. We'll see.
Yeah, Bellator decided to go in, open the lock to transport access, and then come out again. Whereas Interslice decided to go all the way to Jump Guardian instead of after opening the lock instead of going back to Light World. So interesting choice to decide to bail out of Dark World.
I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I actually missed the Jump Guardian item as well.
It was just a miss-out expansion.
Yeah, so yeah, we're just kind of seeing the racers cover each other's ground. Interslice has been through this side, did the Bomb Guardian, checked the energy controller, and is no doubtably on the way to grab space jump boots for himself.
Yeah, definitely Space Jump would have helped Interslice moving around Dark World there. We saw a lot of bomb jumps that Interslice had to do purely because of skipping the space jump.
And it's the subtle things that always that I find the most impressive. But Bellator with movement through that room, taking out those enemies with a single missile and the knowledge to grab some stock up on that power bomb ammo. It's just I don't know. It's just so satisfying to watch the runners with such great execution and movement. So Bellator showing off that definitely knows his way around this game.
Yeah, I think one of the things that'll cost you in Echoes, especially early game, is just you need to know where your ammo pickups are, whether it's health, whether it's power bombs, whether it's missiles. And you kind of have to hope the drop system doesn't decide to prime on you and just not give you what you need.
And speaking of demonstrating excellent play, Interslice having no problem getting that missile gate from the other side. One shot, actually so confident, morph balled right away and just waited for the gate to lift up. So both our runners showing off some skill today. And as we see Interslice heading down to the hive, we will be able to take on the Dark Missile Trooper fight here as we've taken care of the requirement, which is actually killing the Bomb Guardian. That makes the Dark Missile Trooper appear, and Dark Missile Trooper living up to his name today, just giving us a missile expansion.
Yep, another one of our bosses that just disappears with the power bomb, and conveniently he also gave us a power bomb off one of the crates. So back up to full.
Well, Dark Missile Trooper didn't have anything of note, but that is an Amber Translator pickup for Interslice, so it's going to give access to hints and also sand cache and possibly some other things. So still a good call to come down here.
Yeah, come back and get the information, or do you continue and do your GFMC run at this point? Because you've got Space Jump, you killed Jump Guardian, so the item on top of the ship is going to be there. Space Jump ultimately just makes things faster. can skip some ledges out of the way.
Well, my vote would be to go over to GMC, take the ship, because you already had to once, you had to go to Agon to kill Bomb Guardian just to come back here. It technically didn't have to do it, I guess, but since it wasn't the Dark Missile Trooper item, but still, I feel like you go pick that up and come back. And that's the second in-cache hint that we've seen that I think was 2 missile-related upgrades back-to-back, so...
The good energy transfer module. Now here's the question, was that worth going all the way to Aegon, kill and jump Guardian for?
Well, if you like for the meme, then yes, but I'm gonna say certainly Interslice is not feeling good about the time spent there, but it's super early on. We are just crossing the 20-minute mark here, so no worries on that. I imagine Belattor will be making the same play. Didn't even get a peek at what that was. Did you happen to see what's up there in the Grand Wind Chamber?
I do not know. I'm going to call it and say it's just missiles on the restream, but I'm not sure.
But that is our second Agon key, so... Morbus may be among us. I keep getting stuck on the power bomb logic. I'm trying to think of what can be blocked behind what, and it's just not fun. I think maybe I'll just I'll just enjoy the action as it's happening, because I'm giving myself I'm confusing myself trying to count backwards with this.
Yeah, it's one of those strange things to be like, yeah, it's not in logic because you never found the main ones, but we're still going to allow you to use the expansions as normal. But I think given our setup, it must be Pirate Labs and Aegon is where we need to go.
Yeah, and we are seeing that, just covering each other's ground. Belattor came here before heading into Agon, got a lot of these checks out of the way, and now we see Interslice doing the same thing, while Belattor is down at the Splinter Hive. Just collected that Amber Translator, and we'll see if our runners join up here with a pretty much tie item count. I think the only difference is Interslice grabbed an extra Agon key. Yep, and Dark Visor is required for Chaika and Logic if it's not the item that is dropped by Chaika. So, again, with this crazy Logic pattern, Dark Visor can't be specifically locked behind power bombs either. But I'm not going to go too far down this hole with you, chat, because, like I said, I'm going to get confused, and I will say something to surely put my foot in my mouth.
Well, and you saying that and saying that Dark Visor can't be on or beyond Chica, that also means that it can't be anywhere in Sanctuary because you need Dark Visor or Power Bombs to open Sanctuary.
See, this is why I'm not... I mean, it's as a runner, it's a good thing if you're trying to find it and you can put that together quickly. But I wasn't even thinking that, see?
Oh, I can guarantee you if I was in this race, that would be the furthest stop from my head just now. It's only because we're here commenting. We have time to do that.
All right, so there was an Emerald Translator hint. It was 3 rooms away from something. I didn't catch the full hint. Maybe we'll see it on Interslice's side. But what we did get was a hint that there's a beam in Agon Wastes. And for all that we've been talking about, the biggest hype on screen right now is that Amber Translator directly leads to Spider Ball. So Bellator picking up Spider Ball in Sand Cache.
Yeah, so the hint for Emerald was 3 rooms away from Trial Grounds and Aegon, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah, that actually answers a question that happened in chat a wee while ago. Interslice did check Junction Site and it was super fast, but it did look like it was either a visor or a translator, so that will probably confirm that to be the Emerald one, which with that Spider Ball is now technically in logic.
And Bellator reloading this room here to get a peek at the hint on the key bearer. Is going to be able to pick up an item as well.
Yeah, so annoyingly the first time into this room, those spider tracks do not work. You have to reload the room to get them to work.
And the Battlegrounds in cache is a beam-related upgrade. I didn't get a look at what the item was behind the wall, but Bellator did not seem interested in it at all. Might have even seen it earlier. That's why I didn't bother to blow up the blockade there.
It just looks like light ammo, but it's hard to tell with the sort of colour of the barrier being in the way.
Well, chat is seconding that motion there for you. But speaking of light ammo, we now have a beam to shoot light ammo. As hiding under the feet of the space pirates here is our light beam pickup. Bellator's certainly happy to see that. Yeah, that would fulfill, as chat pointing out, that would fulfill the hint that there's a beam in Agon Wastes. Certainly could be more than one, but we've at least confirmed on the suspicions that we had. Bellator tanking some hits there. And is that Dark Beam? It certainly looks to be the case. So if you wanted dark beam, light beam was the key.
That's a really nasty place as well, because you have to go in the front door to get light beam, to then go out and go around the back door to get to dark beam. Because those spider ball tracks are not active in the Dark Samus 1 fight until you reload the room after defeating them, which you require either dark beam or screw attack to get out.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of back and forth in this. You know, we had to check some stuff, then we had to go back at the Amber Translator. I know Amber Translator wasn't locked on anything. It just felt like it was because of the Dark Missile Trooper, but I know it technically wasn't locked on a first trip, but it's kind of felt like you go one, then you go back, then you go back around the other way, and you go back. So, pretty slow start to the seed so far. About to cross that half an hour mark, and we've only now grabbed our Dark Light Beam combo.
And that's all the hint you want to see. The Dark Oasis doesn't have anything important, because that's an annoying in-cache to try and get. You have to go kill Power Bomb Guardian, and then you have to come back with Light Suit.
Was that a Morbus as a missile expansion? It was something.
That looked like a quad.
A quad, okay. It was very blurry, tiny red word.
Yeah, runners are really quick at reading hints, and as much as, yep, that's their own benefit to do that, it doesn't help us as commentators.
Yeah, so the quad check is on life support here, as quad does also lock the Umos 2 item, which we don't have information about, but as far as fighting quad, it's a flip of the coin whether we're going to need to go through with that today. And chat pointing something else interesting out, that possibly getting the light beam earlier was... oh, there's that grapple beam pickup. Possibly getting the light beam is nicer because you don't have to do the Dark Labs loop with Dark Beam. So if anything, it was not Dark Labs, Pirate Labs loop with Dark Beam. So as annoying as it was to go around the back door, it might have been a little more convenient for our runners.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't disagree with that. Pirate Labs is not the friendliest of place to move around.
And Interslice, breaking off here a little bit, took a trip into Sanctuary.
Yeah, I did go in and check out that Combat Master item, but I don't know what it is, and I can't even tell in the restream. It's just too far out of my range.
Well, speaking of really important pickups, just sitting there on the ledge of doomed entry is our super missiles, an item that all too often can be kind of a pain in the neck to find. So, and you get to use it for Warrior's Walk right here as well. So, I'll take that any day.
It's very convenient to go out there and pick up that Emerald Translator, and we all know that Emerald plus supers usually means Torvus.
And speaking of quick checks that are impossible to see, Belattor somehow saw what was in Warrior's Walk phase on there, but I don't have the faintest idea of what that was.
It had a kind of faint orange glow, so I'm going to assume it was a missile expansion.
And chat, I am failing you. There are too many cool things happening at once because we had the super missile pickup, now the Emerald. I totally missed what was on Hazing Cliff, but it doesn't seem like there was a lot of hype in chat. Okay.
Spirit Bomb expansion on Hazen Cliff. I did not see what was in the culling chamber though.
Yeah, we were slow going for a bit, but now all the checks are opening up, and got to keep track of both sides here.
Yeah, why can't both of our runners go to the exact same place at the exact same time? It'd be much easier for our commentators.
That's true. It would certainly make for a close race, too. Dark Samus just never seems to want to hang around when power bombs are an option here in the Pirate Labs. So just as quickly as Bellator was able to erase Dark Samus, Interslice happy to wrap that fight up quickly. Yeah, Super Missiles, Emerald Translator, Dark Light Beam. Torvis is certainly feeling pretty interesting. Sometimes doesn't pay out, but we'll see how Torvis treats us today. And that is a hint for a progressive suit at, I believe, the Hydro Dynamo Chamber.
Hydro Dynamo Station or something like that. I just read it. I literally just read it.
The runners certainly make it look easier. I'll tell you that. Yeah, chat pointing out that's a pretty free item, so just wonder what suit that's going to be. Bellator taking a peek at the Grand Wind Chamber. And then backing up to grab that Agon key there. And no, to answer a question in chat, we have not seen any information on Amorbus. It was looking good in the beginning, but now that we have Torvis access, I don't know that Amorbus is feeling as good as it was a few minutes ago. And sure enough, Bellator taking the gamble on, as I've referred to it a few times here, Tour Vegas. Because sometimes it pays out big, and sometimes the house wins. There's our
Speaking of
first
Torvis keys. And Poison Bog only having a life support, so very likely that is an energy tank. But there's always a chance it could be a suit. In fact, it can't be a suit because Torvis is underwater, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe that one is a dark water check. And there's our third Agon key. So 2 Agon keys are grapple locked here. And chat pointing out that with the Torvis key being underwater like that, it is a... If main PBs are required by logic, that would be a required gravity boost as well. And hey, if you want to complete your beam collection, Portal Room has your Annihilator beam today.
It's definitely not a room I would like to see a beam.
Belattor with some very nice execution to go ahead and get up on this platform. And one of our runners did check this. I guess it was Belattor. I thought it was Interslice. But this in cache here is just a missile tank. Yeah, for all the missiles we've seen, we're up to 30 already. Still only one E-tank apiece.
It's like we've seen two E-tanks there because they both picked up separate E-tanks. They are both in logic, so in theory they should have it. It's just one is on Temple Assembly Site, the other one was on I forget, Mining Station E, I think it is.
It's on the spider ball track in that big mining room. I can't remember the name of it right now, but up top in the ceiling.
Actually, so no, technically it's not in logic now because the power bombs, but so yeah, the logic right now expects you to only have one energy tank.
Well, I can tell you that that suit that was hinted, that's going to be our light suit for Belattor at least. And Gravity Boost is one room away from Power Bomb, if I read that correctly.
Yeah, so I believe that's the cache underneath the temple.
That's good information. Well, all of a sudden, the E-Tank dilemma is not as big a deal as Dark Suit significantly reduces the damage you take from Dark Aether. Goes from 6 a second to... I'm not great on the numbers there. Do you happen to know what it is?
Yep, down to 1.2.
Thank you. I knew it wasn't 1, but I knew it wasn't a... I didn't know what the decimal was. And earlier, under some grates, we found our light beam, but this time it's just a dark ammo expansion. It is going to get some hint knowledge here. Oh, well...
That's not what you want to see!
Chat was just lamenting a few moments ago about how all the bosses are not making an appearance. We're going to see at least one, as the Umos 2 reward is quad.
Yep, that's indeed +1 to quad. Yep, that's not what you want to see as a runner.
I see chat, Quad Squad. I've also heard him referred to as DJ Quad. I also like that.
Yeah, I'm more interested in what Dark Zero said. Is like that logically puts either main power bombs or Dark Visor into logic. So if we don't find Dark Visor, or if it's in the inside sanctuary, that yeah, you definitely had to do Chico.
I feel like that information just put like a damper on the afternoon. It was like, oh. And I love to see bosses on screen, but that was I felt that for the runners, I think. And Interslice taking the gamble on Tour Vegas is gonna get a dark suit upgrade here at the Torvis energy controller. And we'll eventually get some information about the required quad experience. With all the commotion, didn't point out there for a second, we actually have our first Sky Temple key pickup on Bellator's side. If you're new to the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes game, or maybe just haven't played it in a while, we need 9 Sky Temple keys to get access to the final boss fight here in this game. All 9 of those will be required. Just picked up our first one, and also picked up some information that one of them is locked behind a major boss fight.
It's unfortunate as well because we're just seekers away from being able to check those hints.
Yep, and excuse me, I'll clear up just a hair of confusion there. Quad actually only has a missile tank, as chat has said, but Quad locks the Umos 2 check, and that's where we're going to find a Sky Temple key. So Quad's going to have to happen just for the repercussion of it all. But yeah, that's going to be required. And Bellator taking a pause here. Might just be stepping away for a moment. Or is considering options available, maybe thinking through some plays. So hopefully everything is okay on Bellator's side. So, Thoris, we've gotten quite a few items, able to make a good amount of progress. Where do you feel like those Seeker missiles might be hiding out?
They've got to be in under Tarvis, and underneath, somewhere under there.
Yeah,
I'm
plenty.
just taking a moment to appreciate what Astor said. If Amorphous has a Torvis key, then technically all 3 main bosses were required, but they could all be skipped if you knew the right tricks.
Yeah, nothing like an all bosses seed, right? And Bellator back in business. Glad to see everything is okay on Bellator's side. This has to be the gravity boost, right?
Yes, this is what we got a hint for earlier.
Yeah, with gravity boost, nothing is stopping from going down and grabbing the light suit. Yeah, that third Agon key was, I think I think the room was Path of Roots. So we did see both our runners pick that up. I don't know. I feel like a Morbus. I don't know. A Morbus could be something good. Could be Boost Ball. Could be Seeker Missiles. Although, like we said with that Power Bomb logic, I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth here and be having missed something, so... Yeah, Bellator making the choice to complete the beam collection.
Bellator making use of the giant hole in the wall. You just jump out. Saves you a return trip to the Dark World to get back to, well, this room in Light Tarvis.
Well, I can tell you, Bellator makes it look easy.
Oh yeah, like all out of bound movements and echoes is very. Oh, I don't want to say difficult, but it's a challenge. It's one of these things like you have to get used to using it. You have to take the time to learn it and practice it.
Yeah, and it's easy to slip into a dangerous place when you're going for out of bounds tricks too. So both our runners well practiced and well skilled to handle it.
Yeah, a lot of randomizer games that you see around usually have some kind of rule against using some form of out of bounds, but the Prime community actually allow it. Um, it's not forbidden in any way, but the logic of the seeds will never ever expect it. So you could do it for a slight advantage, or you could do it and it could send you down a wild goose chase.
Yeah, that is we've definitely seen it pay off, and we've definitely seen it not. So, like you said, it's runner's discretion. But what was a guarantee was that light suit pickup right there. So Bellator is fully protected from Dark Aether's atmosphere, as well as has access to dark water checks now. All right, so there's a screw attack hint. It's exactly 3 rooms away from, and I missed the rest.
Light suit, essentially.
Oh, great. Well, we are in the vicinity.
So yeah. I should really keep my map up so I can work out which rooms that says.
And speaking of out of bounds play, Interslice knocking a hole in the wall there. And it does appear to be right here a screw attack. Do a nice underwater morph ball puzzle. And for your troubles, that's a screw attack. Yeah, chat pointing out Annihilator beam required. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, yeah, we needed to go pick up that Annihilator beam.
Well, if nothing else, this is proving to be a thorough seed. As everything seems to be locked behind everything else. At least logically.
A major upgrade can be found in Defiled Shrine. Really? So for anyone who doesn't know where Defiled Shrine is, that is the dark room version of where your ship normally is. You would normally only get that if you were going to get hints.
Well, it can't be the Dark Visor. I guess, can it be Seekers? I'm just trying to put the power bomb logic together.
But yeah, I think Belattor has decided to gun it for that major item in case it is Seekers, because then you can check all the hints while you're there.
Yeah, and chat, looks like chat is suggesting, I forgot about Cobalt, so it could also be Cobalt. The major items remaining are Echo, Boost, Cobalt, Seekers. I'm not sure if beam combos are considered major items. The only reason it can't be Dark Visor is because logically Dark Visor would be required for to finish to get out of the room after the Chica fight. We have seen some seeds where Dark Visor is locked itself because Dark Visor wasn't required, but in this case, we're very, very close to being certain that Chica is required. Not 100%, I don't think yet, but
Yeah, chat reminded me there, it's like, you actually need Dark Visor to get that item in Defiled Shrine, so that completely rules that out.
I used to think, that's what I would have, but we had a seed where Dark Visor was in an Incash, you just didn't need it for the seed. I didn't think that was possible either, but I was bewildered on comms one day. And it looks like Bellator is skipping the Seeker's door.
Yeah, I think Bellator's desperate for those hints to work out, like, what Sky Temple keys are where and what requirements does he need. Because if you get through all those Sky Temple keys and don't find one that's locked by Dark Visor, then you could potentially rule that out.
Bellator showing off some skill. Very nicely done. Able to bypass that Seeker's lock and is going to be getting some very important information here. So based on this STK layout, we are going to know a lot more about this logically required Chaika play, I would imagine.
Cat West again. That's a very common play this for this tournament.
Gathering Hall. And we saw Hive Dynamo, so that's Spider Guardian.
FTA, so that brings that light suit into requirement, unless you know the out of bounds.
That is Umos 2.
Oh, Hive entrance, that's not nice.
And Agon Waste Storage A. So that is Echo required as well, right?
I think this is pretty much a 100% seed at this point.
Sorry, not Storage A. I meant the layout of the keys requires Echo. Powerbomb Guardian is holding on to a Dark Torvis key, which, again, logically needed now for those main PBs, I would believe, but...
Yeah, it was Hive Dynamo, not Hive Gyro, so we need to do the Spider Ball to get to the portal.
Yeah, no. Just Hive Dynamo. So Spider Guardian gets a +1 for required there. And Bellator getting his energy transfer module. An interesting divergence here. Interslice is taking the training chamber elevator.
Yeah, so this is one of the alternative ways into Sanctuary that would require the power bomb through a logical means. We did see the other way, which was through Aegon, when we went to see what Hazenglyph was.
Yep, and both of those entrances are power bomb required. So we have Chaika certainly made the case for being required today. So we are on the hunt for Seeker missiles, Boost Ball, Dark Visor, Echo Visor, quite a few things. And logically, the Cobalt Visor. Again, there are ways around that. But still quite a few items unaccounted for on this journey here.
Yeah, we do know one of them is in the Felled Shrine, but we need to find the Dark Visor before we even consider picking that up.
Well, that hint on the key bearer there as a just generically labeled key. We happen to have some more information on that. It is indeed a required Sky Temple key.
I don't know how many hints we got for. I know we've seen Hive Temple keys. I don't know about the Taurus Temple and the Aegon Temple keys, but we know where all the Aegon Temple keys because we found them. So it'll be interesting to know if Interslice could just reverse engineer, work that out as, oh, that is a Sky Temple key, and therefore need to do Spider Guardian, need to get Dark Visor from that.
I think we did see, I don't remember what we saw. I thought it was Hive Temple keys, but I could be wrong. I thought we saw a hint for that. But I think it was Sank and Agon, so if that is the case, it's not going to yield the information. But yeah, I always appreciate the runners being able to put logic together backwards. And chat confirming that. Belattor able to check hints without seekers definitely has given a leg up in the knowledge game here. I think, Thorish, you were speaking to this a little earlier about how that out of bounds is never required, never intended, but it can certainly lead to some helpful plays, and we're seeing that as Belattor gets some earlier information.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble for checking like items and things like that because the logic would never expect it. So you can reverse engineer. If you do an out of logic and you find an item, it's great because then you can reverse engineer. Right, the logic expected this, or would have perhaps expected this item combination to get here. But just for the information of Sky Temple key hints, I think immediately makes it a value. You just have to hope that you don't mess it up because it can be very costly.
Yeah, and these top tier runners, unless they're gonna go for a big gamble, I rarely see them save. So, they're more than capable of navigating through the game just fine, as far as health and stuff. But sometimes you slip off a ledge there, and it's either boost ball or cannonball. And that is the boost ball pickup for Bellator. So as we find more major items, we continue to narrow down what could be in that defiled shrine location. And chat pointing out that boost ball has been available for a hot minute or so.
Yeah, it's inconvenience that we came through the temple to go to ventilation area to get the dark beam and then decided to continue through labs with that information. And it's like that would have been such an inconvenience to come back after getting dark beam to go to mineshaft.
Yeah, this has been a seed of inconvenience. That's for certain. And the Sank Energy Controller is just another Inghive key. I think that's 2 Inghive keys for Interslice, yeah. Not sure where that third one's going to be, not that we really need it. But we must respect the logic, right?
Respect it, but occasionally break it.
Interslice having the advantage a little bit of stumbling upon some STKs that we knew would turn up. So, gets the information that under the glass here in Sank Temple access. And I guess better late than never, but now we're starting to see some E-tanks popping up on screen here.
Yeah, definitely nice to have. The light suit does remove a lot of the danger in the game, but everything else still hits hard.
So chat pointing out here, Thoris, that with that boost ball pickup, possibly a Vanilla Seekers.
I think that would be nasty. Well, I don't put it past our runners to be able to get out of Hall of Honor Dead without Seekers even the thought of going there without Seekers is not the friendliest of ideas.
Now, plays like that in not just Prime 2, but all randomizers, there's always a couple of items that it's just awful to go check without it, and it just because the vanilla game gives it to you there, it expects you to have that. So it can be quite a frustrating gamble when you put it off and then you find it there. But for now, both our runners are kind of in the same boat here. Belattor does have a slight advantage on hints knowledge and also picked up that boost ball a few minutes ago. So that's been the most recent big find. And jumping into the pit here, that's a check that we don't see too often just because of everything that's locked behind it, but turns out to be nothing today. Interslice is going to stumble upon another STK, and I see chat making some comments. I certainly think Belattor is ahead by no means would I say that it's considerably too close. I just know that until we find some of those other items, Bellator may end up checking a lot of the dead sank that Interslice went for. So Interslice has potential to make some plays, and we've seen much crazier things happen in this tournament already. So I've got my fingers crossed for a nice close race because both of our runners have been put on a very nice display.
Yeah, I think even with the knowledge of the sky temple keys, this is more a case of execution, trying to get around your remaining checks to find the remaining items that you need. The only circumstance is like Bellator knows what items he needs exactly, whereas Interslice is just looking for things and will probably not check hints until Seekers becomes an actual thing. So if Seekers happens to be the last item on the chain, then it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah, or if Seekers happens to be in an odd one-off place that Interslice checks because he's doing a more... he's on a little bit of a treasure hunt here. Yeah, that's one of those things that can catch up a lot of time, so I would not count either runner out yet. Based on knowledge, like we said, Bellator certainly using his execution and out-of-bounds movement to build himself an advantage here. And not just the out-of-bounds movement, but Bellator just... You can tell that Bellator is well-deserving of that #1 seed spot because movement through the game has been just very impressive to watch.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. There's a lot of hype in chat regarding whether or not the last Torvus key is on a Morbus or not. And it's like, yep, we did see Dark Oasis, so we knew that was a missile expansion. Or missile related, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we can imagine that something good, it gets more and more likely something good's on Defiled Shrine, but until we have Dark Visor, we don't have a way to get it. That's gotta feel frustrating.
I mean, the worst thing you find out on the Defiled Shrine is it's Cobalt, because that's just such an inconvenient thing to do, to go out, get it. It's a
Oh, and
HUD system.
it did not mean to cut you off there, I'm sorry.
I got a little bit excited there reading that hint of Interslice screen. It's like, it's a HUD system. I was like, wait, Cobalt?
So Cobalt or Echo, right?
Yeah, because we need to get Dark Visor to get that item. So that rules Dark Visor out of that location entirely.
Now, I know I've seen runners access the in-cache, the spider in-cache without, by using some out of bounds and not having to go through the Cobalt route, but that doesn't, it still means it's logically required. And for all we know, Cobalt map check could be blocking something else like Echo or Seekers, so really, I feel like Dark Visor kind of puts us back on track. I feel like we're just on a pause right now, because
I don't remember seeing if Interslice also found that hint. But yeah, I think right now, if Belattor were to find Dark Visor, that gives them a huge advantage.
and we do indeed see Bellator in Sank, so it like we said, Interslice spent a lot of time up here in Sank and didn't find anything. And if Bellator is doing the same kind of searching, it could eat up some of Bellator's time, so still got a good race on our hands. And to speak to a comment there in chat, I'm fairly certain it was Interslice that killed Powerbomb Guardian. And it was indeed a Torvis key. Well, Thoris, Interslice is going to be picking up the boost ball. And I have to imagine that's going to maybe we'll see the push for Hall of Honor dead.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a bad play to just go and roll out that like one-off odd location just to like, because if that happens to be Seekers and you're in this mindset of I don't want to check it because it's out the way, it's like, yeah, that gives you an advantage at that point. The worst thing you can do is check it and find out it's not Seekers but something else, like as chat has pointed out, it could potentially be Dark Visor, and then not be able to get out of the room.
Yeah, I feel like as we get... Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, like, I don't doubt Interslice or Bellator would have an issue getting out of the room.
Yeah, I was going to say take a quick save at the ship, because even if you can't get out of the room at almost an hour and a half into the seed, knowing something's required at Hall of Honor Dead is that's big. Because that's one of those places, like we were saying, you don't want to check it if you don't have the means to get out, so...
Yeah, unfortunately, this is where my weakness of the randomizer shows, which is I know there's two ways to get out of that out of all of Honor dead without screw attack, without Seekers. One of them you can screw attack into the hole that the Morph Ball Tunnel takes you out, and that gets you like out that way, or you can do a bomb space jump and get out that way, or do an instant morph to get out. I just don't know which level of difficulty those are.
Well, chat, you've been wanting to see it, especially from jump. You've been wanting to see some boss fights, but especially since we got that information. So Bellator is treating you to a quad fight. Get some hype in chat for the quad. Funny how few quad fights we actually see. I'd never get to hear this awesome quad mix of music here.
Yeah, if there's one boss I love just playing the vanilla game for, it is the quad fight. It's like the fight of attrition. Because you're in there, you've only got the dark suit protecting you from the dark ether, there's no light crystals. It's all down to like, can you control how much damage you're taking while making sure you keep refilling your supplies? And can you beat them first?
It looks like Bellator is skipping the second half of the quad fight. We know it's just a little bit of garbage on quad himself, but this energy drain is all too important, so...
The disrespect.
I mean, quad was always there for me when I needed him, so... Bellator obviously just doesn't have the time for quad these days.
He's disrespected quad. He's disrespected us as commentators who looked and watched the fight and listened to the music. He's disrespected the fans who are watching who wanted to see a quad fight.
It's like he's in some kind of race and needs to complete this as quickly as possible. Well, I'm with you, Thoris. I love me a good quad remix. And like you said, the fight is just fun to watch, so... Maybe Interslice will let us enjoy it. And Interslice finds his way back into Sanctuary Fortress as well, armed with a boost ball now. Both our runners choosing to put off the Hall of Honor dead check. Can't blame them at all, like we said a few times, but it's kind of starting to look like there could be something there. We're still a couple of items away from a logical go mode. And still just a few less for what our runners are capable of for go mode. So on the hunt for Seekers, on the hunt for Echo and Dark Visor, as well as Cobalt Visor. We know one of them, a major upgrade, which was confirmed to be a HUD upgrade, sitting in Defiled Shrine. And Bellator wasting no time dropping the energy off for Umos 2 and picking up that STK. I'm not picking it up, finishing the thing to go over and make sure that process is done to get the STK later.
Yeah, it'll very likely be the last STK picks up unless he does a save warp and ends up back in the main controller.
I'm going to blame any tongue-tied slip-ups I have today on the fact that some part of my brain is still thinking about the power bomb logic. And Interslice making the same play to do a dance with DJ Quad here. We'll see if we get the full fight or not. And Bellator doing a good job avoiding those Resbit snipes. It's going to go ahead and check this item up here. We know it's just a missile tank. Oh, you know what? I just realized something, and I could be totally wrong. So, Thoris, feel free to correct me or chat. I don't think you can complete this fight without Echo Visor. So, can you complete it, or is they just going to go for the skip?
I think you need the Echo to lock onto the targets. I don't think you need the Echo to see them, so you should be able to complete it without Echo.
And Interslice proving me wrong right there, so thank you, Thoris. I thought you wouldn't be able to hit them until you saw them at least once in the Echo Visor, but yep, you can go right ahead and take care of this.
So it was one of those little confusing things about this game is like, with Dark Ink caches, you must have the Dark Visor to hit them. And then after that, once you've hit them the first time, you don't really need to hit them again with Dark Visor. So it's like, you only need them for that first hit. Whereas there are some things in in Metroid Prime 2 that you need the Echo Visor to even hit. And there are certain things you don't need it to hit, so trying to remember which one's which is the pain in the backside.
Yeah, it definitely got me confused. I was thinking of exactly what you're saying. I was thinking of that the ink caches, even though like you can't even hit them until you've at least hit them in the dark visor. But yep, no worries. Interslice is doing just fine. Missed that first cycle here, but should be getting on. Yeah. Oh, and just catching enough of the magnetism there to latch on and take down the final hit of Quadraxis, rewarded with that worthless missile tank.
Yeah, they don't give you a great camera angle for launching off the legs to get on the head. So sometimes it just feels like you're just like, I think this is gonna work. And sometimes you barely grab one, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, we saw the little spider tail catch, and it like kind of slingshotted and caught back up. It was a very close call. And welcome, SpeedGaming 4. Thank you for the raid. You have caught us just in time for we're looking for whatever's gonna finish putting this seed together here. Still missing our Cobalt Visor, Seeker Missiles, Echo Visor, and Dark Visor. And we did have Belattor out of bounds to check hints, so we know that all of that stuff is logically required. Chat pointing out something interesting, Thoris. We have not seen Boost Guardian yet.
Yeah, we did not have boost when we went into Torvus the first time around because we bailed out of checking mineshaft and Aegon first.
Yeah, if there's something important on the Boost Guardian himself, that's a lot of required boss fights. And we say required in quotes because logically Chaika is required for main power bombs. But we didn't have to go through the trouble of that today. And the power bomb guardian that Bellator's taking on right now has a Torvus key, so that is also logically required.
Yep, there's also been some reverse engineering of the seed so far, and we think that a Morbus has another Torvus key, which makes a Morbus required. And Interslice has just finished returning the energy to Sanctuary because we needed to kill quads to get the almost 2 required SDK. So yeah, all 3 main bosses have been required so far, at least quote unquote logically.
And Interslice doing his part to grab this STK under the glass floor here. Yeah, it feels like it's going to come down to whoever like stumbles upon it, right? because Bellator certainly has more knowledge at this point, being able to out of bounds check those hints. But we're kind of covering the same amount of ground here. Interslice spent a little more time up here and sank, but now you see Bellator is going for lower Torvis clears. So if that next, piece of the puzzle is in a one-off, like an odd one-off location, it's just going to come down to whoever stumbles upon it first.
Yeah, as much as we have information on the keys themselves, like the items to get the keys we have no idea on, because the only hint that we've got to go off of is there's a major item in the Fowl's Right. There's nothing else we can really use to help us.
Yeah, and for those joining recently or maybe a little after that, we haven't seen either runner make the play into Hall of Honor Dead, which you cannot get out of without the Seeker missiles. But again, we're starting to run out of options here. Still quite a few places to seek, quote unquote, for what we're looking for. But it could come down to who decides to make a certain play like that earlier. That could be a big difference maker. Someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Hall of Honor Dead, I would think, is in logic. Permitted Seekers are what the item is. So there's no reason why Seekers couldn't be there. Ooh, Bellator. Speaking of stumbling upon something, Bellator has found the Dark Visor, which is going to give us access to that Defiled Shrine check, which we know is another HUD upgrade. So might be Cobalt, might be Echo. Interslice is in the vicinity, though, so very well could be picking that up pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, the interest would be like knowing that it's either Echo or the Cobalt. Like, how much pressure do you put yourself into going and picking that up immediately versus should I just finish the checks while I'm here?
I don't know. It's a tough call. There's quite a few items still left down here, but I just get a bad feeling about that Hall of Honor Dead check, and I think that the Defiled Shrine check gives you an incentive to also, take a peek behind the glass while you're there.
Yeah, go pick up the Defiled Shrine, come back to Lightworld, save, and then go to Hall of Honor Dead just in case it's worthless or, happens to be something important and you struggle to get out. I mean, Cobalt right now would actually suck because you would have to go all the way back through Sanctuary, at least you've already been, to check all your hints again for potential for them to tell you that, hey, it's just missile-related stuff or nothing important regarding the actual items you require. But on the other hand, they could pay off and tell you exactly where Seekers are, could tell you exactly where Echo is, could tell you pretty much everything you need to know.
Yeah, and another maybe awful scenario we haven't even thought about yet is if one of our runners decides to spider skip and grab what's on the STK that's on the Hive Dynamo in cache, there very well could still be something on Spider Guardian.
Yeah, Spider Guardian is just not one of those fights that pretty much any runner likes to play because it's just frustrating. He's long, he's kind of tedious because it's the same routine over and over again. Not very much interesting happens during the fight, so yeah, most of our runners would skip it if they could.
Yeah, Spider Guardian, a very annoying fight. Like you said, very repetitive. I still think the worst Guardian is Boost Guardian, but that's just because I was terrible at this game, so it's left a haunting impact on me.
Yeah, Boost Guardian has its scars, but knowing you can just power bomb and just obliterate the life out of them, yeah, that's satisfying. It makes up for it.
It makes up for the years of trauma you had from before, right?
Yep, the trauma, the therapy, like just there's so much that Boost Guardian does.
Well, chat also pointing out, I very well could have missed it, but I did not see Bellator make an effort towards Grapple Guardians. So, again, this could be one of those things that you just find something special here. It makes a big difference. Or it's another spot where Interslice is sinking time, right? So,
Yeah, Interslice's energy gained a bit low there. I'm not sure it's bugging out. It's just don't have the energy to finish dealing with you right now, or can I go and check this just to make it more efficient?
possibly hoping for an E-Tank there to bump him back up, but it's not going to be sad, despite the lack of energy, not going to be sad with the pickup. I understand noping out because of the health, but would have been nice to see what was on the Grapple Guardian. That's kind of rough.
I mean, you might feel rewarded seeing Darkvisor there, but at the same time, like, well, even for us, like, as commentators who see all, we haven't saw what's on Grapple Guardian by either runner, so none of us know whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing.
And Bellator is going to be grabbing another STK here at Hive entrance. One of the nice things that Bellator has been able to prioritize is with that early information, using the Seeker's skip by going out of bounds there for Sky Temple hints, is Bellator's been able to include a lot of the STKs on his routing while he's looking for other remaining items. So it's definitely given Bellator an edge. And like we said, it's kind of going to come down to, does Interslice stumble upon something that Bellator has put off? Could have been something like the Grapple Guardian check. But we're not going to know, at least not right now, because Interslice has taken the save warp.
Yeah, so Interslice may be heading for that defiled shrine check at this point.
I'd imagine, like we said, imagine taking a save and coupling with the Hall of Honor dead just in case. But even if there's something, even if Seekers is here, I don't know if it's as big a play as it would have been a few minutes ago, because Bellator armed with Darkvisor will eventually make his way over there. So
If it is Seekers, gives them access to his hints, he'll be on the same knowledge bases as Belattor. But at the same time, like, unless... I don't think Seekers on their own actually gives you very much.
yeah, I mean, if it was Seekers on Grapple, that's a different picture, because Bellator takes a while to get down there. If even bothers, I'm not sure if there would be even a way to get around something like that for Bellator's skill. But being in a place where Bellator can easily, you know, as he's running out of checks, say, all right, I'm going to save, just take a peek. What's Hall of Honor dead? Oh, it's Vanilla, you know, something like that. So I don't know that it's enough of a... Oh, and it is Echo Visor. So our HUD upgrade there at Defiled Shrine was the Echo Visor. So Cobalt still logically sitting out of the picture here. Very well could be Echo locked.
Yeah, it was a good one. It opens a good number of checks, even Propane Path over human Sky Temple grounds. But it also raises a question of, do you do Dark Sands 2 to get to Aerie? Just opens up another one of these potential out-of-the-way checks that is a one-off. And it's a time thing to get it. It's like, so do you commit that time to get it, or do you feel you're behind in this race and need to gamble?
Yep, and as chat pointing out, for all the nonsense that that main PB's on Chaika was, I think we've pieced the puzzle together at this point with the Dark Visor pickup, so we're at least back in logic. And it certainly looks the case that Bellator is prioritizing that STK knowledge and is going to be heading out of bounds from the aether into the ether, as they say. And Bellator is successful. So impressive. Just awesome. Awesome the way that Bellator has been moving through this game and using his skill in the out of bounds to really give him a nice advantage. That is not an easy skip, and it can be disastrous with just putting your foot in the wrong place for just a second. So Bellator definitely worth some hype in chat for the efforts that he's putting on today. And yes, as chat is pointing out, a dangerous trek in to grab this STK is followed by a dangerous trek back out. So, good vibes on the edge of my seat here, Bellator. Make some progress. Get back safely.
It's very nicely done.
I should trust, but I still get nervous. But I should trust. I've seen Bellator rocking it in many other seeds, but especially today has been on point with those out of bounds movements. So, well done. And I think after some awesome hype entertainment like that, it is definitely worth shouting out. Please, if you are not already, give a follow to these runners. Bellator and Interslice putting on a great match here. It's still anybody's game, but it's been very impressive to watch. If you've enjoyed the action here, you'll definitely enjoy the content that they're providing on their channels all the time, and it's just a great way to show some love and support because you know, they're doing this for us to enjoy, right? So Yeah, go head over and give him a follow. You will not be disappointed. I think another thing to note, Thoris, as Bellator continues to pretty much throw logic to the wind, right? And it's just had the Dark Visor, and that's what he wanted to start collecting these STKs. Even if Interslice starts to find things that piece it together, Bellator has not wasted time on those skips.
Yeah, between doing them like very quickly and very efficiently, they are ultimately going to pay off for him in the end because they were all worth something. There was some value behind doing it versus, hey, I don't know what's here, but I'm going to do this out of bounds just to check it. And then, well, if it turns out to be worthless, well, I've wasted my time. Whereas, like, no, Builder's done this with knowledge of there is something valuable at the end of it. And for the most part, it is a circumstance of it's a Sky Temple key at the end of it, so you definitely have to go grab these checks. Doesn't matter what Interslice finds, he's going to have to go to these locations, pick up these Sky Temple keys.
Yeah, and in some cases, the vanilla way of getting those Sky Temple keys is long, especially if we take Cobalt straight through and do the whole Spider Guardian fight. So Bellator is not just saving time by picking these up early, but also in the amount of time taking to collect them. But here we go. Bellator is out of bounds yet again. This Bellator clearly cannot be contained by the walls of this game.
Yeah, this is an outbound highlight because this skips your Seeker missile requirement to get into Mining Station B, which is normally where you pick up Dark Visor. I believe Storage A is down there. I can't remember which storage that is that's down there locked behind the wall with the light beam door. So if you want to get up there without Seekers, like this is how you do it.
Yeah, and seeing how Bellator is managing to kind of erase the need for Seekers here, it could be something that he chooses to not need at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but other than that Seekers block to turn in the Sky Temple keys, I don't know that much else has shown to be locked behind them yet. Yep, and picking up the STK for what is indeed Storage A. I wasn't sure about the room name either, but we know Storage A had an STK, so I'm gonna go that that's it.
Yeah, they weren't very good at designing or coming up with creative room names for some of the rooms in Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 1, pretty much everywhere in Chozo Ruins is called Ruined something or other. So it's kind of confusing when the hints are saying, oh, it's in this ruined gallery, ruined nursery. You're just like, wait, what one of the ruins is that? And they continued that fashion in Metroid Prime, where there's like storage A through D, there's in cache 1 through 4.
Well, it's been a little bit since we've seen a power bomb erase an on-screen boss, but unfortunately, out of power bombs, Interslice is going to have to take on Boost Guardian slightly more vanilla. Even in the light suit, this can still be a rough fight, as the Boost Guardian can hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I think one of the things that caught me by surprise in Echoes is this offered no damage protection whatsoever from normal attacks. It's like in Metroid Prime 1, it's 10%, 20%, then 50% per suit upgrade. Whereas in Echoes, there's no protection from damage sources except from the Dark Ether damage.
And with the Boost Guardian down to about half health or so, Bellator is at it again. A man on the move.
What I actually should be paying attention to is how is Bellator getting out of bounds. Because if Bellator's using Robert, that's impressive, because Robert can just decide to not play nice with you at all.
Well, right before your eyes, Bellator is showing you how he ended up with this #1 placement. Really, really nice movement. And not only is it fun to watch, but it is certainly helping his case, as he is up to 7 STKs with 1 ready to go, just a pickup there at Umos 2. So I believe is only going to need the Echo Visor for that one last one. And unfortunately for Interslice, while the Boost Guardian fight can be frustrating, getting nothing off the Boost Guardian is even more frustrating. So, yeah, you spend a lot of time, you put a lot of energy into it, and no reward there.
I struggle trying to remember which Sky Temple key it is that Bellator's missing.
Oh, it's just up here in the ceiling. I could have sworn that we needed Echo Visor for something. Oh well. I was incredibly wrong. So Bellator is ready to go. Can pick up the 9th Sky Temple key at Umos 2 after that quad kill. And yeah, Bellator showing you no problem with the Seeker skip before. I would imagine is just ready to wrap this one up, and we'll never know the mysteries.
Yeah, unless Interslice can find it quickly, which we unfortunately we know he's not, because we've already seen most of these checks on Lord Orbis. Unless Interslice has come back for Grapple Guardian, in which case we may get to see what that item is.
Oh, and Gallop pointing out that Sank Temple access required that. So that's where I got that from. Okay, we were just able to skip that. I was going to say I knew Echo was at least logically required. Yeah, I'm still bummed that Interslice didn't finish that Grapple Guardian fight. I mean, was very low on health, down to half a tank left, so it certainly made sense to dip out, but I would like to know where these Seekers have been hiding.
I think the only solution will be to steal the permalink from the race time run and run the seed ourselves.
Well, if anybody does that, the first place you should go when you have access is Hall of Honor Dead. There's a lot of places Seekers still could be, but it's frustrating when that's where they end up, so. And at 2 hours and 5 minutes, Bellator is going to turn in those remaining Sky Temple keys, granted access to begin this final boss sequence, and is more than content to leave the Seeker missiles hiding somewhere on Aether. Yeah, Bellator had been making, I mean, just monster plays, jumping out of bounds to grab stuff out of logic and just make progress. But I think the kind of final nail in the coffin was that the Dark Visor turned up where it did, and then Bellator had no reason to kind of hunt for anything else. So had that Dark Visor eluded him a little longer and Interslice found it, Interslice was definitely in a position to make progress and catch up, but Bellator just wanted nothing to do with logic today. Well, blink and you miss it, right? That is an excellent one cycle of first phase Emperor Ing.
Yep, the good thing about the Annihilator is it fires as quick as you can press the A button, so get practicing on the button mashing.
And Bellator, who has been putting on a clinic of broken game mechanics here in Prime 2, taking advantage of the screw attack vulnerability there on Emperor Ing 3. And I have to say, that might have been one of the fastest Emperor Ing cycles all around that I've seen. That was quick.
Yeah, he was playing nice, and Bellator, there's a reason he's the #1 seed. And it's like, getting those angles set up properly, yeah, you can make very short work of Emperor Ring.
Bellator is making progress on this final Samus fight here, hoping to keep Samus out of the center. And Echo Visor was your logical progression chain, as just a few seconds before Bellator is going to take down Dark Samus, we do find the Seeker missiles. That is an awful place, considering where everything else was.
Yeah, would not have been happy to see Seeker missiles there on Simon's path.
And with that, get some GGs in chat. Bellator is going to take away a victory here, finishing with an official time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 11 seconds. And shortly after, Interslice, having just picked up those Seeker missiles, takes the forfeit there. But GG's to both our runners. Some pretty awesome on-screen action happening today. And what a way to begin this bracket to the tournament. We had a great match the other day, and now a second one down. Hopefully we can be joined here by both our runners. And we have Bellator, GG.
Thank you, GG.
GG.
As well as Interslice, GG. How are you doing?
Hey.
GG, guys.
Thank you, GG. To you too, Interslice.
Yeah. So when did you find Seekers?
Never.
No, I thought so. Okay. I thought this was definitely the seed where you would want to skip Seekers if you could do it.
Yeah, I pretty much did quite the same thing as the previous weekly.
Oh, I missed that weekly.
Yeah, I skip Seekers, I skip Cobalt for Spider Guardian.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to know where Seekers were, they were in Sentinel's Path.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought about a Omorbis for a second.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got to Boost Ball and Dark Visor really late, so that did not feel good.
I picked up Dog Razor pretty late, but Boost Ball not that much. Boost Ball was kinda mid game.
I was gonna check that before I went to Taurus, and I didn't. I thought I'd just risk it, and ended up being pretty bad.
I rushed Taurus quite heavily this seed. As soon as I had a super, I went straight to Taurus.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
And for once, I did quite a lot of out of bounds. I was a bit scary doing that much of out of bounds in a single race. Since I'm pretty bad at Seeker Door without Seekers, I did all the Seeker Door out of bounds. Even the storage A ones.
So, which two Sky Temple keys were behind Seekers? I think because I think there was two I didn't know about, and I didn't get to hints in time.
What was
So
it?
there's one in storage A.
Okay.
Yeah. Sank Temple access is also logically Seeker Lock.
Yeah, I got that one.
And which one? Hive Entrance.
Was Hive Entrance one really?
Yeah, Hive Entrance was a key.
Dang. This was not a nice seed.
It was pretty good. To be fair, I was hoping to have a seed like that when I can have an advantage with out of bounds like this.
Yeah.
So I can't say it was a bad seed for me.
This is the exact kind of seed I am not good at. One where it would be better to skip Seekers because I can't do
Yeah,
very much out of bounds.
out of bounds are quite strong when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I can
But
do the portal chamber one and the main reactor one. That's about it.
yeah,
So
the
that I
two
know.
easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah, to further add into the out of bounds play, Dark did some cheating there and found out that Cobalt is in high gyro chamber. So getting
Oh,
Cobalt
really?
to go to Spider would have been a pain in the backside.
Oh god.
Yeah, I bet those cobalt hints would have been good. Probably.
Yeah, maybe. I guess you didn't found the Dog Riser hint?
No. What was that?
No, I'm just asking if there is one.
No, I didn't see one. There was a hint for the Echo in Defiled Shrine, but I don't think there was a Dark Visor hint that I saw.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
checked all the non-cobalt hints I could.
I skipped some. I think I didn't check the one in Aegon by the portal.
I think that was like a key hint or something.
Maybe. And where did you found Echo?
When did I get it?
Where?
Oh, it was in Defiled Shrine.
Defiled Shrine. Oh yeah. I'm done. I got a hint for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the hint that it was a major item, and then I think both of you scanned the key bearer and found out it was a HUD system.
Yeah.
I didn't skin the keybearer.
I did, because I was thinking it might be Seekers, and I wanted to make sure before I committed to it. And it wasn't.
When I got the hint, I'm not sure, but I think I was down to Boost Ball and Dog Riser for potentially Go mod, and I didn't bother checking the keybearer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it certainly was a very entertaining seed to watch, and I have to say, Bellator, like you said about how the seed felt for you, the out of bounds movement was. I mean, you were putting on a clinic. It was absolutely awesome to watch, and we were holding out just for you always like to see a close race, and Interslice was doing a lot more checks than you had seen, and so we thought maybe if Interslice stumbles upon something, but there came a point where the time that you had saved, it really didn't matter anymore. Even if
Yeah.
Interslice had found something, just think of an entire Spider Guardian skip and stuff like that. So it really came together well for you. But I will say, Interslice, along with the awesome playing, you absolutely saved the day by finding Seekers before the seed was over.
Just in time, yeah.
For a second, I thought about looking after Seekers, but I don't know, it was something that could have made me lost so much time compared to out of bounds. So, because even if I'm kinda comfortable with out of bounds, I'm always, especially in race, very stressed about doing those. So I was still at, I think before 1 hour and a half, I was still debating if I should do that much of out of bounds or not. But past that, I was like, you know what? I need to take risks.
Well, I do have a question for both of you. I'd like to hear your points of view on it. Maybe more for Interslice, though, at this point, because Bellator has no regard for logic, as we saw, and no respect for quad either. Skipped out on half the fight there. But how did the main power bombs on Chaika play into your read of the logic?
I should have thought about that more and should have probably skipped out on Sank. I should have put Sank off later because there really was nothing good there except Sky Temple Keys. And with the late Dark Visor and Seekers, there really wasn't a logical way into Sank for a long time.
Yeah, for me, I was kinda twisted because of that, and I did quad at some point just to have some time to think about it, and that's why I read again the hints for the Taurus key, and I understood that the logical way to go to Sank have to be the power bomb on Chaika.
Yeah, that was a rough hint to get early on. It definitely, I know Thoris and I have a couple of sheets of paper with notes for, we're trying to add it all up, figure out what was in logic at what point as we were going. But it does look like in chat that there was a key on a Morbus, Gallop saying that. So logically, all bosses were required.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, of all the major items to have on Chica, I mean, main PBs isn't that bad because you can usually do without it with mains off, required mains off.
Yeah, and you can make the seed quite a puzzle to piece out together.
Yeah. Well, that's about all I have to say on the seed.
Yeah.
Well, GG's to both of you. Absolutely awesome race to watch. And yeah, was a tough loss for you, Interslice, but you will get your chance for revenge as it's double elimination here. So move down to the losers bracket there, and Bellator, you're going to move on. GG's and on a hard fought race.
GG's
GG.
again.
I can't say it enough times. Give these runners a follow if you don't already. It is a great way to show some support for all the hard work that they're putting in. And like I said, if you like the action here, you will love the content that they're putting out on their channels as well. Also want to give a huge shout out to my co-com, Thoris. I don't even know how to say your full Twitch name. Feel free to chime in here.
Just call me Thoris. It's easier.
Well, the link is there in the chat. And a huge shout out to our awesome tracker, Jojo Mojo 2, keeping us honest, making sure all the information is correct, as well as making a little bit of trouble in chat from time to time. We saw you. So thank you to everybody who helped put this stream together. It was tons of fun to be a part of. And yeah, just love getting to hang out and be a part of this community. So thank you to everybody, and really great race.
Yep. And don't forget yourself on there online. Thank you very much for, taking time out of your day to come to the races.
Yeah, it's always appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. Love getting to be here. Well, if there's not any more questions, anything in chat, I know the runners both said they're tired of thinking about this seed already. But yeah, I am 329th in line, and I've had an awesome time. We've all had a great time. So yeah, if you missed a little bit of this, go ahead and check out the VOD. Lots of impressive movement going on through this race tonight. And please be sure to keep up with the schedule. We've got bracket matches coming up the rest of the week. You're not going to want to miss it. Well, for on behalf of myself, Thoris, and everybody on the team here, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next mission.
See you.